Once upon a time, an ancient Indian legend begins. There was a city called Dwarka, a city so wondrous and beautiful that Hindu scriptures describe it as a fairy tale kingdom.
Prasad Lakshair Navavir Jushta, Dwarka boasted 900,000 royal palaces, all constructed with crystal and silver and plenteously decorated with huge emeralds. The city was filled with birds and bees flying about the parks and pleasure gardens.
Ruling over this magical kingdom was the handsome, generous, and much adored Krishna, the Hindu god of devotion.
Krishna is God, but he comes down on this earth and takes the form of a human being. He falls in love. He plays his flute. He fights with darkness, with demons. He gives good lessons to people.
One day, Krishna is called upon to help his friends in a bloody family feud of greed and possession, of good versus evil. The story is a David and Goliath battle. Krishna and his 5 friends against 100 evil cousins. And its source, the Bible of the Hindu world, the Mahabharata, one of India's most revered scriptures.
The
Mahabharata is a religious epic, so popular that when this dramatized version aired on Indian television in 1988, 300 million people tuned in, making it one of the most watched television series in the world. The Mahabharata also tells of Krishna's end. His city, the golden kingdom of Dwarka, swallowed by the sea and lost forever. Until now. Dwarka, lying on the western coast of India, off the Arabian Sea, is a fishing town, home to 52,000 people. It shares the same name as the legendary magical kingdom described in the ancient Hindu scriptures. But the only similarity between the two today are the thousands of pilgrims who come here to worship Lord Krishna, the Hindu god of devotion. The tales of Krishna and his lost city were long thought to be a mythical legend. But a recent archaeological discovery may prove that Krishna's Dwarka actually lies beneath these very streets.
I took up the challenge to find out if really Dwarka existed.
Dr. S.R. Rao is one of India's most preeminent archaeologists. 20 years ago, he was called to the town of Dwarka to excavate this temple.
We came to remove a modern building which existed here because that was obstructing the view of the temple.
During what he thought would be a simple excavation, he came upon an amazing discovery. An ancient temple lying intact, just beneath the first one.
Then we started digging further deeper in order to know if there are earlier temples.
What he found was layer upon layer of temples, built one on top of the next. 3 millennia of history in just 100 feet of soil. But it was beneath the last temple that Rao came across an amazing find that would change his life forever. Shells, pottery shards, and iron artifacts. What appeared to be the remains of a city washed over by the sea. Rao immediately thought of the stories from his childhood. Could these be the remains of the lost city of Dwarka? The answers, Rao believed, lay in the pages of the ancient Hindu scriptures of the Mahabharata. Krishna's Dwarka is only one story in this legendary Hindu epic. Written in the ancient language of Sanskrit, the Mahabharata is the longest poem in the world, and to Hindus as sacred as the Christians' Holy Bible. The story of Krishna ends with his kingdom, the city of Dwarka, sinking into the ocean. So, Rao headed for the sea. But finding a lost city at sea would prove to be a challenge.
But the whole question was where to look for this submerged city of Dwarka. I mean, in the sea you are not sure where to find things.
Rao began randomly searching areas close to the coast of modern-day Dwarka. At first, it proved harder than he had envisioned. Divers wrestled with the strong currents of the Arabian Sea and murky waters. But his efforts soon paid off. Not far off the coast to present-day Dwarka, Rao and the divers stumbled upon a discovery even greater than he had imagined.
On the fourth day, we found these blocks of stones used for construction.
70 feet beneath the waves lay the remains of what appeared to be an underwater metropolis. Massive sandstone walls, streets with cobbled stones, a drainage system, and a huge gate all pointed to a large city. Thousands of three-holed anchors, identical to those found in Cyprus and Syria from the same time period, implied a bustling port. Rao then followed the trail of ruins to an island located 19 miles out to sea. It was here, not far from modern civilization, that Rao came across another discovery. Standing in plain sight for centuries were the remains of a walled structure.
First we saw what was on the shore, and that was a small bit of the big fortification. And as we went further up, we came across that 550-meter long wall.
Rao's discoveries became a lifelong mission. Over the next 8 years, his excavations eventually uncovered the remains of a sprawling city of around 10,000 people. It had obviously been an international port, and the man-made fortifications appeared to be a protection against both man and the sea. To Rao, it was clear this was a lost city. But had he discovered Krishna's mythical kingdom of Dwarka? One day, while sifting through the muddy silt from the ocean floor, Rao found what he'd been searching for. A carved seal with the imprint of a three-headed animal. For Rao, this was the missing link between the myth and the reality. For in the Mahabharata, this seal is described in the exact same way. Known as a mudra, it is an identification card carried by residents of Krishna's Dwarka.
Actually, it says it is the duty of the guard to see that every citizen carries a mudra.
For Rao, the mudra established irrefutably that the Mahabharata and the story of Dwarka was not a myth, but an ancient historical record of events.
You don't find any inscription saying that is Krishna or Krishna's Dwarka, but we have got a mudra in the excavation, and therefore when what Mahabharata says is true, and this is one of the reasons why we call it as Krishna Dwarka.
Skeptics are not prepared to accept that the Mahabharata may be more than fiction and cite the need for further scientific evidence.
We need to study the subject rationally rather than emotionally, and we have to get the evidence which can be accepted by any scientific body.
But archaeologist Rao has found an ally in an unexpected place.
A very good way of dating is by carefully observing the astronomical references. That gives a very accurate pointer.
Dr. B.G. Siddharth is an astrophysicist and an expert on the Mahabharata. Siddharth matches natural phenomena described in the Mahabharata with scientifically verifiable events in history.
The Mahabharata speaks of a total solar eclipse in a very dramatic setting, which fooled people to believe that the sun had set, and that had a tremendous dramatic impact in the Mahabharata war. Now, if one looks at the various eclipse records, which have been very precisely worked out, we again come to the conclusion that such an eclipse could only have been the one on the 24th of June, 1311 BC.
This is the exact same age of the pottery shards, the remains, and the mudra discovered in Dr. Rao's lost city. Rao is convinced that this underwater city is indeed the legendary kingdom of Dwarka. The evidence has spurred him to search India for other clues that the Mahabharata is not entirely myth, but a genuine account of past events. Meanwhile, on the streets of modern Dwarka, the Krishna devotees continue their daily ritual. For them, finding the real kingdom of Dwarka seems less important than offering their prayers to the Lord Krishna.
You know, we are all in search of Dwarka in our minds. We want to live in Dwarka with Krishna. So everybody who is a devotee of Krishna is in search of a Dwarka.
The search for mythical kingdoms, lost worlds, and legendary creatures continues. Is it supported by science, or simply driven by the heartfelt desire to believe? Will we ever find the proof to turn myth to reality? The answer lies buried in Asia's past, waiting to be unearthed.